Hi you guys, Sarah Pacaro. We're rapid transformational therapists. Rapid means fast, and it actually is quite a fast experience. I have lots of testimonials now on my website that I encourage you to go check out if you've been wondering about this and what is this. It is the way that I use to heal from all the damage done from narcissistic abuse. And we're going to talk about the 3 stages and cycles of narcissistic abuse today. They are idealize, devalue, and discard. Boop, 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 a little cycle. Not a very fun one to be a part of. And this, you'll go round and round and round at all the stages in this cycle until you get out, until you realize what's happening, until you do something different. Because definition of insanity, if you're going to continue to do the same thing you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got, but you're going to expect different results. This doesn't work with the narcissist because you are their source of supply. And in this, the first phase is the idealized phase. Narcissists choose their targets, they choose their supply for many reasons. But to qualify as great supply and a great target, they look for vulnerabilities. How cool! I got to qualify as narcissistic supply many times in many relationships. How fun. No. And if you're watching this, most likely you have qualified as narcissistic supply at some point in your life. You have been a target. And they look for great targets. Great targets are people who are very vulnerable, who are very weak. Looking back now, when I allowed those narcissists to come into my life, I can see exactly why. I can see what I was going through, and I can see now what happened because you kind of pan out and you're looking at it from a different point of view. That's where healing begins too. But in this first phase, the idealized phase, they're looking for your vulnerabilities. They are trying to get to know you in this love bombing phase to show them what you've tolerated before. Because if you have tolerated enough before, they know that you're easy prey, you're an easy target. Often targets are chosen based on their status, and targets are supply. They've chosen based on their status, based on their job, based on their looks, their attractiveness. With my first narcissist, we were the Joneses, and I was that little Barbie doll on his arms, and I made him look really good because he had this perfect image of like this happy, beautiful wife and beautiful life that we had, and it was all a facade. Maybe it's popularity, maybe it's your success, maybe it's your wealth. It's not always like one thing. So their targets are often chose based on those things, their supply. The greater the status of quality that you offer, the higher value you have to them. And you will notice that they first conquer and then they destroy. A narcissist is always on a conquest to conquer, destroy, and in this idealized phase, once they have decided to hold you as a source of supply, you are very vigilant. They're very vigilant in their pursuit of you. That's why the love bombing phase, to shower these targets. They shower you with love, with attention, with compliments. They're instantly and constantly telling you how amazing you are and how different you are from anyone they've ever been with. You're so different. And God, does that feel good to hear? Well, guess what? They don't actually mean it. It's not the truth to them, but they're going to tell you any and anything that they think will get you hooked. That's this idealized phase. And the next phase of narcissistic abuse is devaluing. Victims of abuse are often unaware of this stage, this devaluing stage. Because once this stage has begun, your intuition, that gut feeling you get in your stomach is kind of nudging you like, hey, something's off. Something's changed. Here, you were being loved bombed and showered with admiration, attention, affection, gifts, trips, whatever it was. Now something's changed. I don't quite know what it is. It's really difficult to put a finger on, especially if the narcissist is very covert. It's a slow steadying, like dripping of water. Drip, drip, drip. It's not always like letting down the wall and the floodgates come out. Sometimes it's that slow, steady drip of water. So it's hard to put a finger on it in this devaluing stage. This is where the gaslighting comes in. You often think, wait a minute, I don't really know. No, that's not how it is. You are the one that feels like you're going crazy. Narcissists play a very public game and a private game. So you'll notice in public with other people, they're one way, and the behind closed doors in private with you, they're a very different way. So oftentimes you question yourself because everyone else sees them differently than the way that you see and experience them, which makes it really difficult and hard to understand. But that's part of this devaluing stage. You express your concerns about that kind of weird gut feeling that you're getting, that something is off, and then suddenly you're the one that's jealous. You're the one that is making this all up. You're the one that's going crazy, and you start to doubt yourself. The narcissist, he or she becomes cold and they become uncaring, and it almost seems like it happens overnight. Like, wait a minute. So this is when the mask slips, when the mask falls, and you see the real person. You see them for who they really, truly are. And then they make excuses. If you don't accept those excuses that they make, then you're the crazy one. You're the one that's lost your mind. You're the one that needs counseling. You're the one that needs help. You're the one that needs to get it together. They're managing down your expectations of them from constant contact, like you had in the beginning, this love bombing phase where they were probably calling and emailing you all the time, and you notice this happens too, and the narcissistic discard phase, which we're going to talk about next, and the hoovering and the smear campaign and the attacks on you and your character. They're managing down your expectations from constant contact to crickets. You'll notice this is the silent treatment, the stonewalling phase. And this is verbal and emotional and mental abuse. And this hurts. And again, it's that constant like dripping. It's sometimes not in your face. Sometimes it is. But it's this devaluing stage, this devaluing of you, which leads to that third stage, the discard stage. Many victims often will say this discard came out of nowhere. I worked with a client who, like, literally out of nowhere, like, the narcissist just said, I'm done. Moved, left her, left the family, completely moved to another country. Has not heard from him. You're left thinking, what the hell? What happened? What did I do? And so sometimes the discard comes out of nowhere, and you're like, I thought we were doing better. I thought things were getting good. You thought everything was fine, and then you get a phone call, or you get a text, or you get a Facebook message, or whatever it is. They've moved on. They have a new supply. They have a new partner, and this hurts. This hurts in a very cold, very deep way. This devaluing stage is when the narcissist goes hot, and then they go cold. In this phase, the victim is crazy. They're the psycho. They're the ones that has left their head spinning. There are so many accusations that go out during this stage, and it is important to know that the narcissist will target your strengths. That is exactly what they will target. But here's the thing, they call them your weaknesses. They see your strengths and they target those, but then they call them your weaknesses. Again, this leads to the gaslighting and the doubting yourself and thinking, are they right? What if they're right? What if I'm the narcissist? What if I'm the crazy one? Because they're taking their strengths, your strengths, and they're calling them your weaknesses. And you're like, wait, that's not me. This is called the smear campaign. When they're out there, they're smearing your name, they're telling all these lies, these untruths about you. And the goal here is to ruin you, to get you to actually ruin yourself, which is what a lot of people do. You feel like you're a shell of yourself, and then you start on all these negative, horrible behaviors, drinking too much, not going out. You start isolating yourself from your friends and your family, and you really start to just, like, go within. You start to cave from within and feel like you're dying, and you feel like you want to die because dying feels better than going through this discard stage. So it's important to know here that that is their goal. Their goal is to ruin you. Their goal is to make you crawl up in this little tiny ball and not educate yourself on what's actually going on, to isolate yourself so that they can continue to maintain power and control over you. And they do this by taking you through all these phases, idealizing you, devaluing, and then discarding you. Many victims often end up with PTSD, with CPTSD, because of how extreme this relationship can get. And they suffer greatly as you try, like a fish flopping out of water to breathe, to get some air, to get some life back in you. The first stage is obviously becoming aware of what this is. I remember the first time I was sent information on my situation, and the person I was experiencing with was a narcissist, and I was like, oh my, whoa. Every light bulb came on. I finally felt like I had a name and an explanation for what I was experiencing, and that I wasn't alone. And then led to this journey of, okay, this has happened multiple times in my life. Why? What is it about me that I've allowed this to happen so many times in my life, that I have allowed myself to go from one person who took me through all these phases to another person who took me to all these phases? What's going on? Why am I attracting people like this? Because I don't want to live like this anymore. I can't live like this anymore because I feel like I want to die. So first of all, understanding what it is and what you're experiencing, educating yourself about it, and then answering that question, why? And like, I give a lot of information about toxic relationships and narcissism because I've experienced it personally, and I know the impact it's had on my life and how excruciatingly damaging it was. Then set off to answer the question why. And that's what I help people work through, process through, and heal from now. So if that's the stage that you're in, you are understanding this, you're out of the relationship now, but you're really looking for answers of why, because you want to break this pattern, this trauma bond, this cycle, then please reach out and connect. I hope these videos that I share with you are helpful in understanding that, and know that this idealize, devalue, discard stage, you constantly go through it. It's a stage, it's a cycle. A cycle is a circle, it never ends, right? Like that little song. It can be broken though, and it can be broken, and when it's broken, it's a much more happy, peaceful, beautiful life, I assure you. But you've got to go in and get to your mind, like, what is it about you that's caused you to be attracted to this type of relationship, allow this type of relationship, stay in it, and what can you do to make sure it never happens again? That's the biggest and most important question to answer. So thank you guys, as always, for watching this. I hope that this video about the 3 stages of narcissistic abuse, that helps you along your journey. Please like, love, share, and comment, and connect. Reach out if you are ready for your next step to healing.